Our teacher Gennady has a huge experience, more than 40 years. He got awakened when he was young, and when he was 23 years old, he got out of the world of forms or samsara completely. We have a team, and it's a tool. How would you learn to serve people? In our case, we do it together. When a person is coming to us, he's becoming a part of our team. An ego is trying to fixate everything on itself. It's a centripetal force concentrating on itself. Me, I, myself, everything is about myself. And it is aiming to a point. To get to the team, one should really want to get to it and live in serving, who is ready just to give. He will overcome everything, but it won't be easy. He's going to face his ego, even if he thinks he doesn't have one. People tell such stories. It's worth to live for this. They tell what life is, how they felt it. It happened when they had overcome their ego. The ego keeps them in boundaries, in a cocoon. We show them. We tap with a stick on the cocoon and say, go this way. However, the person has to make a step by himself. We cannot do it for him. If he starts moving, then we keep showing him where to go. He makes one more step. He moves independently. We are giving the shortest path, a direction where to go. It is easier to do so in the team, because everyone is doing that. In the retreat, everyone is doing it. If somebody resists, we are sending him home. It's very strict here. How can you create a team by being alone? We are talking about creating an environment that will help people to change. You cannot do it alone. The more dedicated people we have, the stronger the team will be. However, people have to change their usual lifestyle completely before being a team player, and that puts them away. Not many people are ready to go out of a comfort zone. It would be nice to improve some bits, but I have to say that a person starts to understand that the main goal is not the comfort. Yes, he has a job, a family. It's about life. Life itself is the essence. All previously mentioned things are just parts of life. However, if you are radiating this life, you will pour the energy into its every moment, into the family, the job, wherever you are. You are becoming a source of light, life. If you radiate this energy, people feel it and want to learn to do the same. So it is very important to have a team for creating the environment. It is just a common sense that one person cannot build this particular environment. We need a team. In the retreat, a person stays in the present moment almost all the time. This happens because the whole team, instructors, and the teacher are radiating this state. So a person can be in it and come back to it. He learns how to come back to it until he strengthens the skill. That is the work. It's a very subtle inner work, and not just be. Of course, a Neanderthal won't say that he's Neanderthal. He would say he's a Homo sapiens and can play violin. How nicely I can play. We are talking about art, art of living. So we have to find a person who knows this art and can teach us. There are lots of masters who are awakened and are sharing their state with others. They give satsang sessions. However, there is a difference between a master and a teacher. You probably know a famous football player, Pelé. He was an excellent player, one of the best ones. But he wasn't a great teacher. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, it's just an opinion. I would like to say that to know something and to be able to teach others are two different things. In this regard, our teacher, Gennady, has a huge experience, more than 40 years. He got awakened when he was young. Gennady got out of the world of forms or samsara when he was 23 years old. He went through all the steps towards the transformation. There are about 125 of them. These steps start only after awakening, and not many people know about that. Gennady also had several fundamental transitions of consciousness, and he can share the energy of life from different levels of consciousness. Think that you have to abolish yourself. There is myself, it is my ego, my thinking that I am. I have my own story, experience, knowledge. Everything that I have done during my lifetime, I have to put everything aside. Here is a teacher. He shares the methodology via instructors and the team. I have to be open, and the knowledge will pass to me from heart to heart. When a person is not able to make himself happy, he doesn't have skills, knowledge, and discipline, then he needs to go to school, as we have. People can go straight to our school, but we have very strict rules. We have to be strict, as we have a serious goal. But we offer lighter courses as well, some online courses, for example. It is possible to feel joy on those courses as well. People felt interesting experiences even after participating in several lessons of our online courses. I was surprised to read their feedback, to be honest. They said that the world has opened up, their lives have become much better. Just try it. It's a good point to start. We start to bring our inner calmness to this world. We start to share it with the people around us. We start to bring happiness in our and other people's lives. We start to drag people from their routine, depression, and heavy thoughts. We start to share love, which other people feel, and they start to strive towards that. Just by our presence, we start to drag other people into this life. They are beginning to feel it. If we are talking about happiness, then happiness is always beyond our comfort zone. For example, try jogging in the morning, or keep your daily regime. Try to overcome your ego and accept those circumstances that you were running away from. Reconcile with your relatives and family. Make peace with your friend who you were arguing with. Solve all the conflicts. Take out all the knots. That alone will make you more happy. Don't forget a good nutrition and physical activity, and the practice. Some people do not need such deep practice as we have. Indeed, the practices we have are really deep and surely not for everybody. They are only for 1% of the population, or even less. Even though I would suggest people to practice something, let's say yoga, if the body is flexible, the blood pressure is right, and the blood vessels are clean, then happiness is a natural state of an organism. The bowels are clean. It does work until some stage. I've tried it myself, and it truly works. However, when it exhausts itself, there is a yearning for something else. This is where we can help. Why does the cleansing process go very quickly in the team? We can say there are other people who work together in a team. There are like-minded people who make good things happen. What is the difference? The difference is when, in our case, there is an inter-inclusion, a collective motion between students. The teacher can pass the light, life energy through us, and cleansing process starts very quickly. If you are alone, like a wolf loner, it's almost impossible to go through all the way. I don't want to offend anybody, but I talk from my personal experience. This path is a path of heroes. If they come out of the samsara, they won't consider themselves heroes, but regular human beings who feel compassion towards others, because having gone through such anguish and pain, it's impossible not to understand the ignorance of people. However, if we are talking about the environment and your desire to get to the goal, then the environment becomes the main tool in the hand of you and the teacher. So you are able to grow strong, to learn quickly the skills of inner work, and take up the experience of others, and not only via words, but also via the energy of stillness. In the retreat, our aim is to unite all participants into one team. They have to be as one organism, where each cell works 100% for the whole organism. Obviously, if there are some cells that don't work, either they are not ready or do not want to work hard, then we send those people back home for further training. There's nothing wrong with that. The person is just not ready yet. So those who are ready become one organism and start to work together. It is not only important to practice, but also to work with your own ego, to observe it, to overcome it. It's essential to learn how to make your mind still, so we can see the ego and the programs that control us. It's important to understand how our nature cleanses us. There are the cleansing processes of our whole organism, the body, the nervous system, emotions and mind. Unfortunately, we aren't taught about these processes at home, at school, or in society. We do not know how to behave in different situations, to live through our sufferings and not to harm ourselves and others. The team is an asset. There are people who dedicated themselves to a development of the school and for passing the knowledge about the awakening and further. To get to the team, a person needs to go to the retreat first. The retreat is the first step, which opens the door to the school. Then, after the retreat, there is a further training. After that, the person will be on a probation period for 2 to 3 months, or even longer. During that period, we observe if a person is helping us, helping the school, is serving, is passing the knowledge, is helping with the development of the training system. There are lots of things to do. Any help is appreciated. This is the way how one can get to the team. If you want to be in the team, to invest in it, then you'll be in it. However, if you want to just take something from the team, then you won't be able to be there. A person will need to work as well. It's not only about nice and blissful experiences. They also come, but it is also a hard work, inner work. To pass the retreat is like to live through several years of your life, very intense and vivid years, where a person becomes mature and responsible. I am not talking about psychological age, when a person grew up and became even more gloomy. I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about maturity that brings wisdom. It happens when the values are changing. Suddenly, a person starts to realize what is important, essential, and valued, and what has no value. And the person starts to behave differently. Of course, we are talking about honesty and sincerity. We need to nurture our personal abilities and realization of our potentials. We hold a retreat for 150 people. Can you imagine how many people were involved to make it happen? How many hours we spent planning and preparing? There were people in the kitchen, people who were organizing the work, people who cleaned everything up. There were 10 instructors. They spent several years to learn how to teach others correctly. We would also like to have a specialty in sports, art and music as well. It would be great to develop all of that and more in the base of our school. You can participate in all of that, but it has to be created. To get to the team, one should really want to get in and to live in serving, who is ready to just give. He will overcome everything, but it won't be easy. He's going to face his ego, even if he thinks he doesn't have one. Team should have people who are open to inner work. During the further training, people learn to balance their social and school lives. When we are working on ourselves, we can practice for many years and even see our own ego programs. However, it is very important to remember that we need another person who will point out the subtle sides of our ego. To see the real problem in our ordinary lives, we have to go through tough and harsh situations. And by living through these ashes of hell, we get more mature if we don't give up. But this is a harsh process. By the way, some people even become awakened after that. There are two common ways to become awakened in society if a person hasn't practiced anything. A person become awakened either in the young age or through a painful situation in his life. In the first case, it happens very quickly and naturally as it was already been written in his destiny. People may think it was luck, but it was the accumulated potential from the previous lives. Gennady said that people become awakened in many lives just to be able to go from one step to another. So the awakening or the enlightenment is not the ticket to the full transformation, and you might return here again. We have to master this whole simulator. As for the second case, when life awakens us, is heavy stress, to put it mildly. Usually it happens between life and death. It could be a car crash, a fall from height, an awful pain, migraines, a depression. Usually it doesn't happen easily. There is a third option, to do it consciously, when a person works on himself. Our school is the place where you can do the inner work optimally within the team. We have people who are going to help us to see our ego. Almost all modern teachers say that the whole world is our reflection or a mirror. One of the main skills we learn in the school is the ability to work with this mirror. So, when we see that something's wrong, we don't blame the mirror, but pay attention to subtle details and try to understand why we see that. We work with ourselves. The people who are training in our school find out that it becomes obvious how it all works. They also see that their relatives are changing as well. By working on ourselves, we start dragging other people up as well. It happens automatically. There are a lot of difficulties in the retreat. Some people's bodies are not ready for the workload, though the yoga we give is very mild. It's not even Hatha yoga, it is a simple set of exercises. Many people cannot sit on a chair for 30 minutes for our meditation block. Their back gets tired. These are the very simple examples. We have a strict discipline. Our daily regime is very tight. There is no time for yourself. We allow only 20 minutes in the morning for the shower. Many people cannot follow it. Why can't I do my own stuff? I would like to go for a walk. No, you came to the retreat. You have to do the practice. It is similar to rowing a boat. We have to do it together. If we do it synchronously, then we have a fast speed. Otherwise, we won't get anywhere. Our aim is to swim towards the deep present moment, and preferably quickly. The main difficulties are when we transmit a state of pure consciousness, and when a person receives it, different blocks which were not lived through start to come out. It could be fears, feelings, emotions that were accumulated during his life. These knots, these stones that he's always carrying with him, they start to break down, and the person starts to live through them again. And some people think that something is wrong. In fact, a purification mechanism is working here. It will start at some point in his life anyway. It's just a question whether a person is ready to take that on board and live it through in these comfort conditions, or he will wait until life gives him a lesson that cleanses all the programs. A big stress should appear for these blocks to disappear. We always emphasize that there is no differentiation between the practice and life. The practice is given to teach us to bring light into our lives. It's not just, here I'm in the practice and here's my life. It should be together. It's a midline. You can work, be active in the society, and learn to serve at the same time. You learn to work in the team and share the knowledge. This knowledge is the base of our lives. And the more one practices, the more he sees the improvement in his relatives' lives. Anything can happen in their lives, exceptional things, and surprisingly without any painful processes. If we have an open and trustful relationships, then our loved ones are taking on our experience without any words. They change as well. So by working on our inner self, we change the world. People start to see their minds that resist everything. When the simple instructions are given, the mind starts to fight. We need to step over this fight, this resistance. We need to go further, stick to the instructions. If a person continues and steps over this resistance, doesn't listen to his mind and steps on his ego, then often these people get an experience of a very comfortable, serene physical state. If we talk about awakening, a person feels that everything is turned upside down if it happens suddenly. In our school, in the team, it can happen smoothly and gradually. A person notices that his attitude to life is changing, and suddenly he realizes that he's living differently. The perception is changing more and more if we continue moving further. It's just the beginning. The team gives support and strength to go further, even more. When you tune into another person, you see that he's suffering right now. By doing that, you forget about yourself and your own problems. That is really an amazing thing. We turn our attention from ourselves to others. An ego is trying to fixate everything on itself. It's a centripetal force concentrating on itself. Me, I, myself, everything's about myself. I'm the center of everything. It's aiming to a point. It narrows the worldview only into myself. When we start concentrating on others, we are breaking the vicious circle of thinking only about ourselves. We begin to expand. We begin to tune into other people. At some point, we are going out of the ego boundaries and see that we have always been in the present moment, but have not understood that. We have always been the stillness. It is so weird to realize this. It is so simple and obvious. How could I have lived without this for so many years? A body is a temporary substance. A spirit is eternal. By living in the human body, the spirit develops. If we are talking in a very primitive language. Our development is in unity. Without it, we won't move further. The life will press us, make harsh conditions around us, so we'll get into a severe depression, get huge problems, until we realize that it is necessary to do something about it together. We have a goal to build a learning center where we will teach people our methodology, how to become awakened, to create a settlement and environment where awakened people are going to live. People will come to this settlement and become awakened. Some people will stay with us, some will go. This is our goal. We won't move any further without it. For the time being, life tells us to do this, and we have to obey. If we are ready, of course. If you are ready, please come, and we will talk. I would say that learning online is not productive and effective. On the other hand, working with the team is an opportunity to get to the goal. The team is a tool. How would you learn to live in serving? We are learning this together. When a person joins, he becomes a part of this organism which moves towards the goal. Each team member has his own tasks and duties. Every one of us lives by these tasks, contributes to the school. It's not a 9 to 6 work. Here you put your whole heart into it, because you understand how important it is. Why are we talking about a team? Because thanks to the team, we can get into deep layers of our ego. It's possible to drag out the fiercest programs of our ego. The methodology and the teacher help us to see this issue. As soon as you see this, it is already the first step towards liberation. We are talking about a liberation from all the sufferings. By getting on this path, we get an internal power that makes us able to drag others out of their misery. Even when you get through the first milestones, it becomes obvious that sharing an experience with others is the only option. At the beginning, a person can try to be happy just by himself, but then he will realize that it's impossible to build the paradise on earth only in his own apartment or house. Where is the paradise? And why are we suffering? It's such a great question. We didn't leave the paradise. Here it is. It is the paradise. Every one of us is living in it, but we have an idea, a serpent in the Bible, that this is not the paradise. The paradise is something else. Flowers, something nice and beautiful. Everything is in our mind. It's an idea, an illusion. We are seeking the illusion and do not appreciate or value the place where we live. We are not open to it, so we cannot feel it. And then it feels like a hell to us, that something is wrong. The discrepancy between our illusory paradise and the real paradise creates a clash, creates sufferings. We think it's unachievable. At the same time, we don't value the present moment. You aren't recognizing your own paradise. This is your problem. We are creating a teaching system. We need people, creators, who are ready to contribute and work. We are ready to teach such people. It would be great to see them. We are waiting for them.